Alright, this is another video of weapons I've been requested to play with, and also just because of my personal interest. Great title, I know. But for this one we're going to be doing a little mix with the Hydra Splatling as well as heavy Splatling. I'll go through gear fairly quickly. Run speed is what you typically see on Splatlings, so again for that movement and also charging, it helps with that a lot. Ink res, because again, Splatlings and almost like any other backline aren't big fans of moving a lot. And when you don't have a lot of map control, ink res definitely helps with that strafing speed and also movement around corners, that sort of thing. Quicksilver jump, again, that's pretty typical. Want to jump out, it just helps get out of sticky situations a bit quicker. And object rare for once is for those HP specials or Rainmaker or splash walls that people like to put up very often. It can deal with those fairly easily. And I think that's about it for my build. I guess a bit about both. Hydra's a bit more of a slower, but the kit's not the greatest, mostly because of Autobomb. It usually benefits more off of utility subs, so that would be like ink mines, beacons, sprinkler, which is nice or heavy. You'll probably see me do, I guess a lot of supporting, or kind of like a backfire. That's what you're mostly meant to do with Hydra. It's kind of like to back up your teammates and almost be like a rock for them. So it's like you know, or they know rather, that you got their back. We're doing a mix of series and maybe open. We'll do 2 with Hydra and 2 with heavy. Hopefully we'll keep the win streak going. And hopefully all goes well. So yeah, with Hydra, again, definitely the slower, but I prefer it mostly because of its range and also damage output, more DPS. And it's also nice for shredding objects like you see crab tank, buoy bomb, or quickly getting rid of ink vacuums. That way you can use the rescue charge to take out that ink vacuum user. I'll also be positioning in areas more so where my teammates want to go, since it's a good way to support them. And I also want to take areas where I can have, I guess, viewpoints, almost different access points on the map. So I'll probably communicate or tell you a bit about that. Especially on Mahi, because the opening on the right side is quite nice. And I'll, I guess, give a little thought process in that as well. So Mahi is first. Teammate's relatively aggressive. Oh yes, E-Leers. Playing against E-Leers are fun. Or any chargers are fun, so you just want to play very careful around them. Which I'll try my best to do. I like to open on this right side. So like, because I can open and watch the right side. Unfortunately the leader, that's just bad matchup. Teams want to push up aggressively, so I'll probably push up aggressively as well when I can. I can hold this right side because that's where they are, and I also want to have those vantage points since I can cover this right side, I can cover that snipe there. Like that trade's beneficial because they went 3 down anyways, but that's why the sword position is nice because now I have advantage of snipe, I have advantage of the right side if they want to push it that way. And I can also see if anyone wants to drop on the far left side of zone. I'm going to paint up a bit here, so you can support and also get the buoy on the same time. That way I know I can be ready to push when I come back in. I'm going to back up a fair bit, mostly because the special's being used everyone down. And we want to see if we can get any people off guard, or any straight picks, that would help us a lot. We don't have anything, so I'm probably just going to take a step back for a moment. That leaves on the right, so I don't really want it to be in their sight lines. So I'm better off staying on the left side. Oh, forces Hydra off. I can feel awkward. Oh, booyah, because my teammates want to push up. We do get picked, which is nice. Here, get the Hydra, or the Hydra, the leader, to back up. And they also use their booyah quite early, which is really good. See if we can cause pressure on the snipe and not get sniped at the same time. I'm not going to challenge this leader, so I'm just going to go on the opposite side of where they are. Some caster. Hopefully our teammates can finish that off. If not, that's okay. We have a cushion, so it's not a big deal. And we do cap as well. Again, now I'm just going to apply paint just to stall for a bit. And also charge boot at the same time. I'll force the Hydra to back up, so my teammates can actually move in that area. See, my teammate wants to force a Stamper, so I'll help him out. See, my teammate wanting to aggress blobs. He luckily gets the pick, and I'll probably fire some shots at this leader. Again, force him back, force him out of the play. Someone that's definitely weak behind that ramp, but I'm probably going to hold my ground here. Never mind, because the leader... I can't probably Booyah just to hold. Again, holding this Booyah just intimidates them. They don't know where I'm going to throw it. I'm surprised that blob didn't die, but... Okay, that Stamper fed, so we punish him for it. We don't want to get sniped by the leader, because that would be bad for us. But again, we want them to feel as awkward as possible. They don't want to be in our sight lines or get picked off. We're one down, that leaves on the right side, so we probably want to stay away from that. Teams are doing specials, force leader to back like super far. We go down though, I don't know what happened on the left side of the map, but doesn't matter. Okay, leaves on the left side, so he's not. I think Storm on the right's a really big pain. Kind of forced to go right side here. We need to get a pick here of some kind. Can't get it, sadly. I think Strike should help though. Now he's kind of got a mad dash pain for it. Don't want to do what that guy did, because dying on zone just makes it a lot harder to paint. But we do have a chance. I'm going to hold this right side, because again I have my ways of holding a lot of territory at the same time. Let's see if we can get a Paul off on the Hydra. Forcing the back up. I'm going to Booyah zone just to hold. They focused me, and that's why they didn't get zone. If that Stamper went for zone instead, they would have probably won that. Or had enough paint. But I think the Booyah also stalled enough to where we were able to hold. So I also wanted to say matchups, especially against leader. Especially with the maps and also, I guess, Splatlings started as well. It's definitely weak against leaders because, again, the range and also the one-shotting potential of leader. That was an overall passive game. That was mostly because of the leader. I guess I'll keep going on that. So yeah, the range and the one-shot, and you're also super vulnerable as a Hydra, as a very slow weapon, so if you're just out in the open or in any like charger's sight lines, you'll probably get picked off. So you want to be very careful of where opposing charges are, if there are any. So you don't just feel super suppressed or like super backed up because of a charger's positioning. Or just don't get picked off like out of nowhere just because you're accidentally in a sight line of a charger. So keeping track of them is always a good thing. And it's also good to call it to your team as well. Again, so they can acknowledge and not get sniped in open areas and almost play around it. And that's what I tried to do a bit more that game, especially the leader. That's pretty specific, but you do see teams running quite a bit of leader with how much area it can control. I made a few mistakes there, especially against the leader. And some of my teammates didn't do the grace either, but it's not all about blaming other people. You gotta reflect and learn from what you've done. Hopefully queues don't take too long. Fingers crossed. And after this one, we'll switch over to heavy, which is a lot faster and definitely does a lot better job of clearing space for the range it has. And its kit definitely works a lot better. Again, being that rock, being that last line defense if needed. Almost being that backup fire for your team. And again, as well as the backline, the more sight lines you can cover, the better. Because again, if you can cover all those routes or entryways, like Mahi on the right, I'm able to watch snipe on the right side. And also watch people drop on the left side at the same time. If anyone does that, I can fire, set them back a little bit, or make them readjust. And again, all that in like hindsight really stalls time. Like if they had to readjust for like 3 seconds, that's like another like 3 points for me. Like all of it adds up in the long run, that's for sure. It's just a matter of suppressing and like punishing people who do get in your sightline. We get under total, so we get a bit of change of pace. And we do get another Hydra, so. This one's a bit difficult to play around, but I'll probably play around where this leader wants to position. Again, those guys are weak, and they definitely do not see my sightline. And also, I guess positioning not with the leader helped as well. So his Hydra wants to booyah, so it has nothing to do with me. Look at the flames there. We're gonna booyah just to see if we can help our team a bit. And also paint zone at the same time. We didn't see the squelchers. I didn't see it move up, but we're able to trade back, which is fine. Now I'll go more on the right side. Because again, now they're all looking at my teammates, and they're not looking at where they aren't at. Like a better word. So I'm going to apply some pressure. Be aware of what's above me. Squelchers up in the zone. Luckily again, those partial charges. Teammate wants to challenge the Hydra. I know I'm safe from the right because my teammate just taking out the bamboo. So I can move up a little bit. And these squelchers are playing really aggro. I'll probably booyah just help my wiper out. Again, we helped our wiper. We get 2 for 1, which is fine. And our wiper trades back. So again, we're able to support our teammates, and we do get picks out of it. And again, I guess taking advantage of what they're paying attention to. I probably said this a few times in other videos, especially my Forge video. So again, Hydra isn't very fast at getting picks. So anytime you're able to get a pick when someone's not paying attention, it's always good. Suppresses Hydra, hold zone. And that's the game. For that, we kind of played around our backline and also our teammates and what they wanted to do. Since they wanted to hold the left side or aggress the left side, or the right side rather, we booyah and push up with it. Because we knew we were covered, and also there's no one on the left side that could poke out and pick us up. And we felt safe enough that our other teammates behind us were able to back us up. I've also wanted to say this as well. I didn't mention this in other videos, but again, this is what I'm thinking of that applies to solo queue. Not all of this applies to team play. Again, it's just more so paying attention to your teammates a lot more, especially as a backline. And obviously you won't see some mistakes you'd see in solo queue that you will see in competitive play, or there'll be fewer mistakes rather. It's all very ambiguous, but again, this is just a thought process and overall point of view from my perspective. And I think now we'll be switching over to heavy. Sprinkler and Wave Breaker. Sprinkler is a good way to just kind of like paint your feet around you if you need to, and Wave Breaker is also a great way to hold space at the same time. So we'll queue into another game. Hopefully find one sooner than later. And heavy is definitely a lot faster. And you can see the run speed kicking in. So if I charge behind the wall, and then I can quickly go out, get my aim on people. That sort of thing. Oh yeah, I would also say, if you're firing a lot in one direction, I would say just cancel it. Because again, if you're just firing there, you're just wasting time to where you could just cover another area instead. So if you're, for example, if I'm shooting a lot on snipe and no one's there, I could probably use my time better by focusing on the right side, because that's where they're most likely to drop instead of where I'm shooting. Another leader. It's a really annoying comp, but we'll have to play around it. We can climb up the wall. The leader dropping on snipe, so I know where they are. Not the splash, at least. This junior's going to be throwing a lot of torpedoes as well. I'll wavebreaker here as well. Let's see if I can get my teammates in. Get the crab out of the way. Obviously, really did help. Wow, that's a good shot by the E-leader. I thought he went further behind. That's okay, because we're able to cap. I'll place a sprinkler behind me. It's just passive charge for my wavebreaker. Able to hit the junior, which is really good. We don't want to challenge the crab. If we had a height advantage and they weren't looking at us initially, it would be okay to challenge, but now, not so much. And now we want to play a bit more safe. Couldn't get that pick, sadly, but win some, you lose some, I guess. Okay, we're 2 down, so we can take space a bit. Let's make sure we don't get sniped. That would be a worst case scenario. We just want to stay alive at this point. We're not really wanting to risk anything. I'm just going to wave just so I can hold space. In case anyone does want to approach like that, we pick them off. So that wavebreaker was quite useful, actually. That, on the other hand, was not. I guess a good rule of thumb with wavebreaker, I've heard other people say this as well, is kind of have it half cover your territory, but also kind of like half intrude your opponent's territory. It's a healthy habit to have, so your wavebreaker can get usage, but it doesn't get destroyed almost immediately. Get picked off by 2 crabs. Could have peeked around the wall a bit quicker, but wasn't able to in time, sadly. Again, now we just kind of want to stall, maybe get a pick. Now's the time we really want to back up. Let's get rid of the wavebreaker. Don't want to deal with it. I'm going to wavebreaker behind the block here so I can clear space for my team. Yeah, don't really want to challenge the crab. I'm just going to shoot over just the paint. I see the leader. I'm not really going to challenge that left hand side. They're just going to sit there. Instead, I'm going to help my teammates. Which we do. We're going to be a bit more aggressive. You don't want to send too far back, because then you're just leaving your teammates almost stranded. Now I'm a bit too far up. I'm gonna wavebreaker here, just for safety. A stay alive wavebreaker. Couldn't get the junior rushing, sadly. I thought I would mark him. Now we just kind of gotta get set up again. Again, punish anyone who does want to overextend. This junior's really wanting to play aggressively when my teammates actually want to push him. Not having leads okay. I shouldn't have challenged a crab, but hopefully we can cap. I saw one guy in snipe, so I'll probably get rid of that. That's a good pick. Again, now it's right side. I can watch my right hand side, and then I was able to pressure snipe. So I changed my focuses mid-charge. Now I don't really want to aggress too much here. I may wave breaker zone here actually just for safety. Again, just control space long enough to where they don't want to aggress. And our wave breaker does get some mileage. And that's what helps us win the game. Again, not the greatest game. Want to really be careful for crabs, because again, once they do get that rapid fire off, it's really hard to deal with, and you really just don't want to challenge it at that point in time. I did a couple times, but you really just don't want to do that. That's just some simple mistakes that I saw for myself, but it's also some pointers for other people as well. And again, we kind of played around that leader and where our teammates want to apply pressure. Maps update. We'll see what mode we get. We'll do one more with the heavy and we'll call that a wrap there. Hopefully we go 4 for 4 again. That would always be nice. We have clan blitz, alright. Yeah, we'll play clan blitz, we won't do tower control. And series gives us a bit more run for our money rather. Clan blitz I might play a bit more aggressive, because again, the objective isn't just one stationary thing like zones. We're wanting to push up, apply pressure where we're ready to. I always like to say it's a team I'm coaching in terms of layers, like kind of like your defensive third, the middle of the map, and also your aggressive third. And where you want to pressure at each moment in time, depending on the game state. Whether it be neutral phase, or you're on defensive, or you're wanting to start a quick push. Not gonna lie, I'm surprised all my shots are hitting quite nicely with heavy. I'm not the most proficient, but I'm well enough to compete at a higher level in solo queue, not so much in competitive. So I do have enough understanding to play it. Hopefully no one disconnects this time, we can actually get a game. I didn't have a look at the maps, or what the maps were rather. You can play on Mako, yeah, okay, these are fairly balanced maps. Again, positioning would be a bit different in terms of having the most sight lines as we possibly can with what's given to us. And also how we want Wave Breaker and control certain parts of the map. I guess that's another thing with Wave Breaker. You can use it almost as a way to get people off you. It's mostly because people get very vulnerable when you do jump. If you do jump, you can't really move quite as well, and you're not shooting, and you're more focused on avoiding the wave breaker than actually shooting the person. So it becomes a good defensive tool, or offensive tool, if you can place it correctly. So you'll probably place it behind walls, or corners that can't cover a lot of areas, depending on the game state we are in. They don't have a very aggressive comp, so I'm just going to position on the right side. See if I can pressure stack. Saw the guy see that way, I was able to watch the left and also their stack at the same time. And now I'm pressuring that guy back. Hopefully my teammate can get up. There's a crab somewhere. Help my teammate who's crabbing. Oh, wave breaker here, so we can get a bit more aggressive. Gets people to poke out. Again, now we're just kind of controlling space, because this is our stack to control. They do have a ball, so we might want to go back. Our teammate stops it, which is nice. May just give up stack, but that's okay. They're weak, so it should be finished off. Now we just want clamps. Don't really want to force it. Our teammates do go down, so we might have to wait for a bit. Again, hold mid while they come back. And I'd say we did a good job with them using 3 specials. I'm going Wavebreaker here just defensively. Again, the Wavebreaker definitely helped. I don't know where his teammate went, unless he backed up. I'll take the ball, because again, or unless my teammate wants it. Saw 52, so I'm going to challenge it so my teammate can actually get up there. Same with the blob. We're going to score our clams as well. We're going to back up because this is not a good fight for us to take. Unless the guy wants to feed into us. Now we're just going to hold mid because we don't have enough time. And we just want to hold mid so we can set up our next push. So I'm not really going to force anything unless I absolutely have to. I'm going to Wavebreaker here just to get them off the stack, because it does reach on the stack, I think. Or reaches enough to where it makes the fight awkward, especially for that Nautilus. Because now we have control stack and they're super far back. That gal should die, but our team is actually able to get a ball. I'm glad they were paying a bit more attention than I was. And again, now we have a few climbs to fall off, not like a lot, but it's like enough to where we do get some points on the board. And again, now we just want to control mid. Maybe make another ball, unless our teammate wants to, which is fine. Now we're going to cover our teammate. And that creates an opening for us to score clans for ourselves. We're just going to suppress this Nautilus so our teammates can score. Oh, one more clam. Oh, I can score the last one. Or my teammate can. That works too. And that was a really nice game to end off with. Again, we covered most of our sight lines. We were able to control mid. Like, they used 3 specials, and they had to use those 3 specials to get us out of mid. And like, those specials weren't really used in any other way. And now I know I can defend quite safely, because now they're not going to use specials for pushing up. So we did oh my gosh, tripping over my words. We did a pretty good job, despite that major disadvantage, and also making them use specials. And we also applied suppression to some areas to help our teammates move up or finish off kills a lot easier. And with that, we go 4 for 4, and I think I'll end it there. I guess again, if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll see you with the next weapon. Bye.